Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As I was drinking my blackout coffee this morning, an update about the death of the Airman at F.E. Warren Air Force Base came across my news app. Now I know that this was a story that interested a lot of people, seeing as it had to do with the Sig M18, which is the military version of the Sig P320. It got a lot of publicity on top of a bunch of stories that we already had about uncommanded misfires, right? And I've been following this case whenever we had updates, so of course I decided to bring that to you today. But before I get into it, I want you guys to know that I do start every day with a mug of blackout coffee, sometimes hot, sometimes iced, but always smooth, bold, and knowing that I am supporting a company that supports my channel and the Second Amendment. Everything purchased through my link helps support the channel directly, and their partner roast with some of your favorite gun rights groups sends money directly to those groups to help fight the gun control laws that infringe on your rights. So to get a cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate that you can be proud of, go to blackoutcoffee.com/LibertyDoll and use code LibertyDoll for a one-time 20% discount. So the original story here was that a young airman, Braden Lovan, was shot in the chest on July 20th. The original story was that he put down his holstered weapon, which was inexplicably pointed at his chest, and it went off, killing him. This was in line with many other stories we'd gotten about the SIG P320 at the time, though again, this was the M18 military version, which does have an external safety. Then we found out that someone was arrested in connection with making false statements, obstruction of justice, and on manslaughter charges. That person, until now, was pretty much unnamed. Now, according to this new update, there are 3 people facing consequences. Well, there were 3 people facing consequences. I'll get to that in a moment. During summary court-martial proceedings on October 30th and 31st, 2 men, Airman First Class Sarbjot Badisha, probably saying that wrong, and Airman First Class Matthew Rodriguez both pled guilty to making false statements about the incident. Now, both of these men and the one who had been arrested previously all served with the victim in the 90th Security Forces group, according to Air and Space Forces magazine. Now, the plot thickens here a little, as you may realize that I haven't mentioned anything about the young man who allegedly did the shooting, beyond that he was arrested. Well, it turns out that on October 8th, the primary suspect, Marcus White Allen, was found dead. This info, along with his name, wasn't released until a few days ago, and the military said they couldn't provide any further details because his case was connected to the ongoing investigation around Lovan. White Allen is the 4th death suffered by the 90th Security Forces group since July, including the airman White Allen was accused of shooting. The other incidents involved a senior airman being shot and killed at an off-base apartment after another airman shot an AK-47 through a wall for some reason, and another incident at Fort Collins, Colorado that has currently been ruled a murder-suicide. At this time, the details around White Allen's death are unclear. Originally, no other details were reported in late October, though in the most recent statement, the Air Force did say that he was found deceased in his dormitory. The rest we can speculate on. Now, in Lovan's death, we have new details that White Allen allegedly pointed his gun at Lovan's chest in what the documents called a joking manner. To which I would remind people, there are only 4 rules of gun safety. 4. That is not a lot of rules to remember. According to the Air Force, during their guilty pleas, both airmen admitted they saw White Allen pull his duty weapon from his holster and pointed at Lovan's chest in a joking manner. Each stated they then heard the firearm go off and saw Lovan falling on the ground. According to their pleas, in the immediate aftermath of the incident, White Allen told Badisha, "Here's the story. Tell them that I slammed my duty belt on the desk and it went off." Additionally, White Allen told Rodriguez to tell the responding emergency personnel White Allen's holster went off. Neither airman reported that information to investigators during their initial witness interviews on July 20th, 2025. The false statements from both airmen hindered law enforcement efforts, leading investigators to initially believe Lovan's death was a result of an accidental discharge from White Allen's M18. Badisha was sentenced to 30 days in confinement, reduction to E1, and forfeiture of $1,545, and Rodriguez was sentenced to 10 days confinement, 15 days restriction to base, and reduction to E2, as well as forfeiture of $500. Evidence determined White Allen had his finger on the trigger as he placed the firearm on Louvan's chest. Laboratory tests determined there were no defects in White Allen's duty-issued weapon. Now, I would caution people from taking this story and saying, well, then, this is proof that nothing was ever wrong with the Sig P320, as this does not discount the dozens of other stories out there, including incidents Sig itself confirmed in court documents, or the shadiness that made it seem, allegedly, like Sig had known there were issues and covered it up, which I did videos on before. You can believe those other incidents, or half of them, or none of them. This story only applies to this story, though it was definitely the most publicized of all the incidents. I will say, though I have seen people in comments and on Reddit talking about incidents within the military as well, on the Sig documents I'd previously published, Sig did say that the external safety mitigated the issues, or most of the issues, that civilians were reporting in the consumer market. So take that as you will, carry the Sig or don't, just please remember the 4 cardinal rules of gun safety and follow them. If White Allen had done that, then all 4 people in this story would still be alive. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and ring that notification bell. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and happy shooting, while obeying the 4 rules.